What's going on, YouTube? Florida Man Knives here with a quick comparison video, and that's going to be between the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Spyderco Manix 2 Lightweight. You can see I've got both of them in front of me. This one just happens to be a DLT trading exclusive with S90B. But for the sake of the video, I want to keep in mind a couple of different things. So first off being, you can get the base model, with CTS BD1 or CTS BD1N. We'll say the BD1N version for 105, as opposed to the base model Paramilitary 2 is going to be more in the 155 range. So getting right into it, the big difference is your overall length is going to be 8 inches on the Manix 2 Lightweight, as opposed to the overall length on the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, coming in a little bit longer at 8.24 inches. You're going to have a blade length of 3.31 inches versus a blade length of 3.5 inches right there. So a little bit longer of a blade on the Paramilitary 2, and that goes for the handle as well. Your handle is going to run you right at about 4.82 inches versus the handle on the Manix 2 Lightweight. It's going to be 4.625 inches. A couple of other differences are going to be in the thickness of the blade. It's going to be a little bit thicker of a blade on the Paramilitary 2, 0.145 inches, as we're on the Manix 2 Lightweight, and on the Manix 2 itself, I believe, it's going to be 0.13 inches. So overall, they're pretty comparable when it comes to the size. They both have very similar designs. Of course, the Spidey hole, forward finger choil there. Definitely larger knives, so you can grip them down here or choke up. Obviously the Manix 2 is the lightweight version. They do have a regular version with liners and G10, but when comparing the weights of the two, your Paramilitary 2 is going to come in at 3.77, and your Manix 2 lightweight is going to come in at 2.89 ounces. So almost a full ounce lighter on the Manix 2 Lightweight. That to me is hands down the biggest difference besides cost, and that's going to be due to a couple of things. Number one, this has FRCP, fiberglass reinforced copolymer handles, as where this has G10 scales with full stainless steel liners. This has no liners. It is a linerless design with the milled FRCP. So that's why, I am comparing these two. I could compare the regular Manix 2, but I feel like the lightweight is a little bit more of a direct comparison in most people's eyes. This is a pin construction, of course. One big complaint by most people, so you cannot take it apart. It's where this does have the torque screws. You can take this part down to its very last individual part with no issues whatsoever. Stock clips, this has the typical Spyderco hourglass clip. This has the Spyderco wire clip. And then the other big difference is going to be in the lock mechanism. This is going to have the Spyderco ball bearing lock versus the Spyderco compression lock. Both are made in Golden, Colorado, USA. Earth, of course. And now, let's get into a little bit of a discussion on this. So I think for the general average person, the Manix 2 Lightweight is definitely going to be more affordable. It's going to be a little bit easier in the pocket because it weighs less. I have to admit, this probably goes in and out of the pocket better than any knife I own. The combo of the wire clip and how they have it over the flat part of the FRCP, just really easy in and out of the pocket, is where the G10 is a little bit grippier with this pocket clip. So it's definitely one difference. Another thing, this is 100% fully ambidextrous because it does have this ball bearing lock, which basically is a little ball that's on the inside of these FRCP or FRN covers that you can see pops into the blade, and it's accessible on both sides. You can disengage with, just your thumb, and of course fully ambidextrous, as opposed to the compression lock. It's basically, a liner lock on this side of the knife, for those of you who are not familiar. And, as a lefty, I mean, you can use it or access it with your thumb, but definitely not as ideal. So I wanted to point that out. I will admit the ball bearing lock is actually my favorite lock from Spyderco. Once you break it in, it pretty much drops shut. Of course, the compression lock drops shut, no problem. I think ergonomics are fantastic on both. It's really going to come down to the individual on which one you prefer. This is not going to be about what I think is the best knife for me, though. I think this is going to be about what's the best knife for the average person. And I'm going to have to go ahead and say it's actually going to be the Manix 2 lightweight, in my opinion. As I said before, price, weight, those are going to be the two big differences. But even stepping up, let's say this is going to be the Spy 27 model, which is about $140, a little bit cheaper than the S30V Paramilitary 2. And I just think it's a better all-around EDC knife. I mean, maybe you can treat the PM2 a little bit harder, do some more hard tasks with that knife. But I think, for the average person, especially if you're not as concerned with a higher quality steel, not that CTS BD1N isn't higher quality. This is actually just the CTS BD1 steel, which I really love. I've had this knife for 6 years, ordered it July in 2015. Actually pre-ordered this knife when Blade HQ had announced that it would be released on their website. So that's pretty interesting. It's held up very well over the years, as has the DLC coating, of course. But for the sake of this argument, we can assume with or without the coating. And I highly recommend both of these knives, and I just wanted to throw up a comparison of the main differences between the two. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I'm sure this might be a decisive or dividing opinion, excuse me. So definitely let me know what you think. Either way, I really recommend these knives. This one's designed by Eric Glesser. You can see there's his signature right there, and this one's worked on by both Eric and Sal Glesser from Spyderco. Both fantastic knives. Quick comparison video. I highly recommend getting both of them if you can. If you're on a budget, definitely get the Manix 2 lightweight. But thanks for watching.